Hello, guys and gals. This is part 4 of our reading of. Wait, is it part 4? Yeah, this is part 4 of our reading of An Odd Bestiary, or a compendium of instructive and entertaining descriptions of animals culled from 5 centuries of travelers' accounts, natural histories, zoologies, etc., by artists famous and obscure, arranged as an bestiary. Is designed and illustrated by Alan James Robinson, and the text is compiled and noted by Laurie Block. In the last episode, we made it to Unicorn, which is you, so we're almost done with the book. I think that, and then we will go over the bibliography just because it's interesting and I need content. Anyways, as always, we'll go over the content, the copyright information. Says right here, copyright 1982 by Chelamide Press, manufactured in the United States. The book is printed on acid-free paper, although Library of Congress information is here. And this was a University of Illinois press edition, 1986. So that's cool. We are going to pick this up where we left off, and we left off with the unicorn. And as you can see, there's never anything on the opposing pages, which is really kind of an interesting way. I guess it saves money and trouble that way. Okay, so unicorn. Great account and much profit is made of unicorn's horns, at least of that which beareth the name thereof. Whereupon, notwithstanding, many I perceive suspect an imposture, and the same conceive there is no such animal extent. No such animal extent. Herein, therefore, to draw up our determinations, beside the several places of Scripture mentioning this animal, which some perhaps may contend to be only meant of the rhinoceros, we are so far from denying there is any unicorn at all, and we affirm that there are many kinds thereof in the number of quadrupeds. We will concede no less than 5. There is the Indian ox, the Indian arse, otherwise known as donkey, the rhinoceros, the oryx, and that which is eminently termed monoceros or unicornus. Some in the list of fishes and some unicorns we will allow even among insects, as those 4 kinds of nasicornus beetles. Since, therefore, there are many unicorns, since that whereto we appropriate a horn is so variously described, that it seemeth either never to have been seen by 2 persons, or not to have been one animal. With what security a man may rely on this remedy, the mistress of fools hath already instructed some that to wisdom, which is never too wise to learn, is not too late to consider. That's from Pseudodoxia Epidemica, 1646, by Sir Thomas Browne. And there's the unicorn. And there's the unicorn, too. His body resembles a horse, his head a stag, his feet an elephant, his tail a boar, he lowereth after in a hideous manner. One black horn he hath in the midst of his forehead. This wild beast cannot possibly be caught alive. That's by Pliny the Elder. We are to V and the vampire bat. Vampire bat. On waking about 4 o'clock this morning in my hammock, I was extremely alarmed to find myself weltering in congealed blood, and without feeling any pain whatsoever. The mystery, however, was that I had been bitten by the vampire, or specter of Guiana, which is also called the flying dog of New Spain, and by the Spaniards. Pero Valador. Pero Volador. This was no other than a bat of monstrous size that sucks the blood from men and cattle when they are fast asleep, even sometimes till they die. Wow. And as the manner in which they proceed is truly wonderful, I shall endeavor to give a distinct account of it. Knowing by instinct that the person they intend to attack is in a sound slumber, they generally alight near the feet, while the creature continuous fanning with his enormous wings both keeps one cool, he bites one piece out of the tip of the great toe, so very small indeed that the head of a pin could scarcely be received into the wound, which is consequently not painful, yet through this orifice he continues to suck the blood until he is obliged to disgorge. He then begins again, and thus continues sucking and disgorging till he is scarcely able to fly, and the sufferer has often been known to sleep from time into eternity. Ooh, that's kind of scary. Okay, it says, narrative of an expedition against the revolted Negroes of Suriname in 1796 by John Stedman. And I do not agree with that statement. Every person is wonderful, regardless of their race. Anyways, and now we have the vampire bat right here. Very scary looking. So greedy does this nocturnal surgeon draw the blood that instead of being roused, the patient is lulled into a still profounder sleep. That's by Charles Waterton. Waterton, that's right. Okay. Now we are to Walrus. Walrus. When seen at a distance, the front part of the head of the young walrus without tusk is not unlike the human face, as this animal is in the habit of rearing its head above water to look at ships and other passing objects. It is not at all improbable, but that it may have afforded foundation for some of the stories of mermaids. I have myself seen a seahorse in such a position and under such circumstances that it required little stretch of imagination to mistake it for a human being. So like indeed was it that the surgeon of the ship actually reported to me him having seen a man with his head just appearing above the surface of the water. Seals exhibit themselves in a similar way. The heads of some at a distance are not unlike the human head. The resemblance, however, is not so striking as that presented by the walrus. The walrus is a fearless animal. It pays no regard to a boat, excepting as an object of curiosity. It is sometimes taken by a harpoon when in the water. The capture of a walrus in the water cannot always be accomplished without danger, for as they go in herds, an attack made upon one individual draws all the companions to its defense. The best defense against these enraged animals is in this crisis sea sand, which being thrown into their eyes occasions a partial blindness and obliges them to disperse. An account of the Arctic regions, 1820, by William Scoresby. Let's learn more about the walrus, shall we? There it is. They are very stout and undaunted creatures. They stand by one another as long as they have life, and if any of them be wounded, they never give over so long any one of them is alive. That's by Frederick Martins. We are to X. X. I wasn't aware that any animal started with X, but they found one. Xiphias. Swordfish. The swordfish is said to be very voracious, and that it is of a great enemy to the tunny, who are as much terrified with it as sheep are at the sight of a wolf. It grows to a very large size. The head of one with the pectoral fin found on the shore near Langharm in, oh my gosh, I'm going to butcher this, Carmarthenshire, alone weighed 75 pounds. The snout was 3 feet long and hard, but not hard enough to penetrate ships and sink them, as Pliny pretends. The snout is the upper jaw. The snout is the upper jaw, produced to a great length and has some resemblance to a sword, from whence the name. It is compressed at the top and bottom, sharp at the point, and the underjaw is 4 times as short as the upper, but likewise sharp pointed. The mouth is destitute of teeth. The body is slender, thickest near the head, and growing less and less as it approaches the tail. The skin is rough, but very thin. The color of the back is dusky, of the belly silvery. The pectoral fins are long and of a scythe-like form, and their first rays the longest. The tail is exactly the shape of a crescent. British Zoology, 1768-70, by Thomas Pennant. Yeah, Thomas Pennant. Okay, and let's take a look at the swordfish. I haven't seen that movie, by the way. The swordfish, called in Greek Zypheus, hath a beaker or bill sharp pointed, wherewith he will drive through the sides and plankers of a ship, so that they shall sink withal. Pliny, which proved not to be true, actually. We are to yak, the letter Y. Yak. These cattle, though not large boned, seem, from the profuse quantity of hair with which they are provided, to be of great bulk. They have a downcast, heavy look, and appear, what indeed they are, sullen and suspicious, discovering much impatience at the near approach of strangers. They do not low loud, like the cattle of England. They make a low grunting noise, scarcely audible, and that but seldom, when under some impression of uneasiness. These cattle are very valuable properties to the tribe of itinerant Tartars, called Dukba, who live in tents. They tend them from place to place. They afford their herdsmen an easy mode of conveyance, a good covering, and wholesome subsistence. They are never employed in agriculture, but are extremely useful as beasts of burden, for they are strong, sure-footed, and carry a great weight. Tents and ropes are manufactured of their hair, and among the humble ranks of herdsmen, I have seen caps and jackets made of their skin. Their tails are esteemed throughout the East, and are used for driving away winged insects, flies, and mosquitoes, and are employed as ornamental furniture upon horses and elephants. Yet the best requital with which the care of these keepers is at length rewarded for selecting them good pastures, is in the abundant quality of rich milk which they give, and the butter produced from it is the most excellent. An embassy to the court of the Tishu Lama in Tibet, 1800, by Samuel Turner. We are to the last one after this. Oh, he's kind of cute. Yaks grazing are like Bedouin tents. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Edmund Candler. Okay. Got a nice smile. And we are to Z, the zebra. Could there have been any other? Okay. Let's read this. Zebra. The zebra is perhaps the handsomest and most elegantly clothed of all quadrupeds. He has the shape and graces of the horse, and the swiftness of the stag, and the striped robe of black, and a striped robe of black and white, alternately disposed with so much symmetry that it seems as if nature had made use of the rule and compass to paint it. These alternate bands of black and white are so much more singular as they are straight, parallel, and very exactly divided, like a striped stuff. And as they, in other parts, extend not only over their body, but over their heads, the thighs, the legs, and even the ears and the tail. Hence the animal at a distance appears as if he were surrounded by little fillets, which some person has disposed in a regular manner over every part of the body. I'm not sure what fillets are, but anyways, which some person has disposed in a regular manner over every part of the body. In the females, these bands are alternately black and white. In the male, they are black and yellow, but always of a lively and brilliant mixture upon a short, fine, and thick hair, and the luster of which adds to the embellishment of the color. The zebra is in general less than the horse, and larger than the arse, the donkey, and although it has often been compared to those two animals and called the wild horse and the striped arse, it is a copy neither of the one nor the other, but might rather be called their model, if every species had not equal rights to creation. The System of Natural History, 1791, by Comte de Buffon, or Buffon. And it says, the zebra or zabra of the country Congo is a beast of incomparable swiftness, by Leo Africanus. We are to the bibliography, and I will probably read this. Armadillo, by Nicholas Monardes. Joyfulness out of the newfound world. Joyful news, rather, out of the newfound world, wherein are declared the rare and singular virtues of divers, herbs, trees, plants, oils, and stones, with their applications, as well as the use in physique as of chirurgery, which being as well applied, bring such present remedies for all diseases as may seem altogether incredible, notwithstanding by practice found out to be true. Englished by John Frampton, merchant, newly corrected, whereupon they added the 3 other books treating of the bizarre stone, the herb Escaracorta, and the properties of iron and steel in medicine and the benefits of snow. Okay. London, printed by E. Alday, 1596, F73V. Okay. It says here, Joyful News, the first major treatise on medicinal plants and drugs found in the New World, especially those from Central America, held an important place in medical literature for many years. Among other things, it introduced Europeans to tobacco. In the first edition of his work, Nicholas Monardes, a prominent physician of Seville, not a barber apparently, mentioned the subject only briefly. Two subsequent editions extolled at length the virtues of America's wonder drug. The doctor considered tobacco an excellent household remedy, a cure-all for a long list of complaints. His facts and fictions were accepted with great authority, and his opinions were often quoted. Unfortunately for suffering patients, Monardes's uncritical view of tobacco went unquestioned for 2 centuries. Caption, Comte de Buffon, The System of Natural History, translated by W. Smelly, 1791. I think that's pronounced Smelly, I'm not sure. Or Smilai. Basilisk, Philip Henry Goss. An Introduction to Zoology, published by the Society for Promoting Christian Knowledge in 2 volumes. London, printed by S&J Bentley, William and Flay, 1844, volume 2, page 33. A passionate interest in history and natural history inspired Goss to begin writing at the age of 26. An Introduction to Zoology was his second book. When his prose style matured into the 1850s, much of the natural history books which flowed from his pen became bestsellers. Goss also invented the aquarium. That device, as well as his books, encouraged vast numbers of the Victorian English middle class to venture into the rock pools around Britain's coasts. They often took their seashore finds home, like many of his contemporaries. Goss had great difficulty reconciling science with religion. He tried desperately to prove the theory of evolution false. After being ridiculed, he retired from scientific circles and began writing religious tracts. Despite his total rejection of Darwin's views, the 2 men did exchange some friendly correspondence on the problems of cultivating orchids, a hobby they shared. The caption was by Anonymous. Camel Leopard, by Heliodorus. An Ethiopian history written in Greek, Englished by Thomas Underdown Anno, 1587, The Tudor. Translations edited by W.E. Henley, London D. Nutt, 1895, Volume 5, Book 10, or Book X, page 279. To gain political favor, the Sultan of Egypt sent Lorenzo de Medici a great array of exotic gifts, which arrived in Florence on November 11, 1487. The Sultan was seeking to release of his brother, who was being held prisoner by the French. A stately giraffe was among the items he offered. Everyone in Florence, including Lorenzo, was impressed and charmed by the creature. Unfortunately for the Sultan's brother, the gentle beast died before Lorenzo could send it on to the French. Lorenzo asked Angelo Polizano to write a eulogy. Polizano revered the classic writers and in his eulogy noted that the giraffe was an animal surely seen by the ancients, but then it was called a camelopards. He translated Heliodorus's story to show how the giraffe had received its older name. Caption was by Sanderson in Purchas Pilgrims, 1625 to 26. We will try to read one more. Dodo. No, this one's kind of long. We will pick this up at a later date. We've been reading from an Odd Bestiary. It was designed and illustrated by Alan James Robinson, and text was compiled and annotated by Laurie Block. If you like this content, make sure you like and subscribe and ring the bell so you know when I upload. And if you support me in any way, all the information will be in the description below. As always, thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.